I thought I had the perfect life, the perfect marriage. Brittany and I had been together since college. We were that couple, you know. The one everyone looked at and said, I want what they have. We built a beautiful home, had 2 amazing kids, and shared dreams of growing old together. But behind that perfect facade, a storm was brewing, and I was completely oblivious. It all started with small things, little changes I barely noticed at first. Brittany started working late more often. She'd come home exhausted, smelling faintly of a perfume I didn't recognize. When I asked, she'd just say it was a stressful project at work, or she'd been out with her colleagues for a quick drink to decompress. I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? She was my rock, my everything. Then came the phone calls. She'd get texts late at night and quickly hide her screen. If I walked into the room while she was on the phone, she'd abruptly end the call, saying it was just her mom or a friend. The excuses were always plausible, always just reasonable enough to dismiss my suspicions. I told myself I was being paranoid, that years of a happy marriage meant something. I didn't want to believe that the woman I loved could be lying to my face. The real wake-up call came on our anniversary. I had planned a surprise romantic dinner. I booked her favorite restaurant, bought her a necklace she'd been admiring for months, and even arranged for my parents to watch the kids. I was so excited. I called her office in the afternoon to make sure she'd leave on time, but her secretary told me Brittany had taken the day off. My heart sank. She had told me she had a huge deadline and would be swamped all day. When I confronted her that evening, she had a story ready. She said she felt sick and went home early, but didn't want to worry me. But I had been home all afternoon, and the house was empty. The lies were starting to unravel, and the web was far more tangled than I could have ever imagined. The loving, devoted wife I thought I knew was a stranger. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing, replaying every strange incident, every flimsy excuse from the past few months. The late nights, the secret phone calls, the sudden work trips on weekends. It was all adding up to a conclusion I was terrified to face. The heavy heart, I did something I never thought I'd do. I decided to look through her phone while she was asleep. What I found shattered my world into a million pieces. There were messages, not just from one person, but from several men. Intimate conversations, plans for secret meets, photos I can never unsee. It wasn't just a single affair. It was a double life. She had a whole other existence I knew nothing about. There were mentions of hotels, dinners, and even trips to cities she claimed she was visiting for work conferences. It was all a lie. The pain was indescribable. It felt like a physical blow, knocking the air out of my lungs. Every memory we had ever made, every I love you she had ever said, now felt tainted. Was any of it real? Did she ever truly love me? I sat there in the dark, the glow of the phone screen illuminating the destruction of my marriage. I felt a mix of rage, betrayal, and profound sadness. I needed to protect my kids and myself from the fallout. So, I started gathering evidence. I took screenshots of the messages, downloaded the photos, and even noted the dates and locations she mentioned. I felt like a detective in my own life, uncovering a conspiracy that was aimed right at my heart. The next few weeks were agonizing. I had to pretend that everything was normal. I had to smile at her, kiss her good morning, and listen to her fabricated stories about her day, all while knowing the truth. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Seeing her with our children, acting like the perfect mother, made my blood boil. How could she risk tearing our family apart for her selfish desires? A quick search of her messages revealed the truth. She was meeting one of her lovers there. That's when I knew it was time. I couldn't live this lie anymore. My kids deserved better than a broken home built on deceit. Consulted a lawyer, showed him all the evidence I had collected. He was shocked but assured me I had a strong case. We devised a plan for the confrontation. I wanted it to be on my terms, in a controlled environment where she couldn't manipulate the situation or turn it against me. I decided to do it on the day she was supposed to leave for her getaway. When she came downstairs with her bags packed, a cheerful smile on her face, I was waiting for her in the living room. My parents were there too, ready to take the kids out so they wouldn't witness the ugly scene that was about to unfold. Her smile faded when she saw the serious expressions on our faces. "Where are you going, Brittany?" I asked, my voice calm but firm. She launched into her pre-rehearsed story about the spa and her friends. I let her finish. Then I calmly laid out the printed screenshots on the coffee table. One by one, the messages, the photos, the hotel reservations. Her face went pale. The color drained from her cheeks as she stared at the undeniable proof of her betrayal. She stammered, trying to come up with another lie, but the evidence was overwhelming. There was no escape. The confident, deceitful woman I had seen in those messages was replaced by a cornered, panicked stranger. "I know everything," I said, my voice finally cracking with emotion. "The late nights, the trips, all of it. How could you do this to us, to our children?" The dam of my feigned composure broke, and the hurt and anger I had been suppressing for weeks came pouring out. The confrontation was brutal. There were tears, denials, and eventually a hollow confession. She tried to blame her unhappiness, her boredom, anything but her own choices. But I wasn't listening to excuses anymore. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. In that moment, I knew our marriage was over. I had exposed her double life, not just to myself, but to her. The fantasy she had been living was over. Filing for divorce was the most painful decision of my life, but also the most necessary. The process was messy, but the evidence I had gathered protected me and my children's futures. Today, life is different. I'm a single dad, and it's not always easy, but my kids and I are healing. We're building a new life, one based on honesty and genuine love. Looking back, exposing Brittany's double life was the first step toward my own liberation. It was a brutal end to a chapter I thought would last a lifetime, but it was also a new beginning. I'm still learning to trust again, but I know I'm stronger now. And for anyone out there going through something similar, remember that the truth, no matter how painful, is the only path to healing. You deserve a life filled with honesty and respect. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever faced a betrayal like this, know that you are not alone and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Your support means the world.